Like the kind of the doghouse.
Okay, just my last minute thoughts on Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis. An exciting fight, this one. We're about a few hours away currently from when I'm recording from the fight. And a fight that I kind of have been a bit iffy on simply because I feel as if Prograis does pose a real threat for Devin. But personally, just off the bat, I do think Haney will take it. I think he'll get it via unanimous decision. I do think it'll be close at times, but I do think he'll do enough to kind of just keep Regis off. One thing about Prograis is he does slow down as the rounds go on, and one thing about him though is, and I'll give him this, with Devin going up to 140, he's never fought anybody who hits as hard as Prograis. And the thing with Haney, he hasn't really shown he's got a particularly, I know he's never been dropped, but he's never really shown he's got an iron chin. Loma was hitting him and it was causing him problems, so I personally think Prograis could definitely cause Haney some problems, but the issue is he doesn't move his feet enough. I don't think he doesn't circle enough, and I feel as if Haney is just going to jab his head off all night. I do think he may have some problems, Haney, but ultimately, I don't really see him having much issue with keeping Prograis off him. The only thing with Prograis, which I would say, he hits very hard, and his best shots are his straight punches. And I do think with Haney, if there is one thing he does struggle with when it comes to evading shots, he tends to get hit a lot down the middle, a lot with the straight shots, and that could be something interesting. I think he's never fought anybody who will pressure you the way Prograis will, and the thing with Prograis, if he hurts Haney early on, I do think you could then see Haney unravel a little bit. One thing about Haney, he doesn't really deal with pressure that well. If you ever look at guys who really brought it to him, like what Loma did to him, when he started getting pressurized Haney, he couldn't really fight his way out of it. He kind of just had to hold on and just wait for the storm to pass, essentially. Same thing happened with Linares, and the thing with Haney, he's never really fought a power puncher either, which is why I really wanted him to fight Tio, because I think him and Lopez would be an interesting test, and it could still be, to be honest, because with Lopez, I'm pretty sure he's still a champion 1 foot, I'm not sure, but I think with Tio, he's got the explosiveness, the power to really test Haney, because Haney's not fought anybody yet where he's essentially got the threat of being knocked out, and he's still been hurt by Linares. Lomachenko hurt him. He's been wobbled in fights, Haney, before, so I think it's a problem. And the only thing I would say about Haney as well, traditionally he always has a size advantage. This is the one fight where he doesn't really have much of an advantage at all. Prograis is also very long. I mean, if you look at the quickly at the tail of the tape, so Haney has a reach advantage over Prograis by about 4 inches, which I think matters, but Haney isn't really like a long-rangey fighter, though, really. He doesn't fight like... Height-wise, they are obviously the same height. However, obviously, Prograis has been fighting at 140 a hell of a lot longer than Haney has, and I think Haney will adjust well, but the only thing is you don't really... I don't see his power improving Haney much. I don't think he'll be able to hurt Prograis at 140. If he does, I would fair play, but Haney hasn't really got the pop in his hands at all. I think there's more chance of Shakur Stevenson doing something like that, knocking out, not specifically Prograis, but hurting somebody higher he goes, because he's got the faster hands and is a little bit more athletic, whereas Haney hasn't. He's athletic, Haney, but he hasn't really got the physical gifts that some of these guys have. But yeah, I just don't see him being much of a puncher at 140. Couldn't do anything at 135 in terms of his power, and people can say he was drained, but ultimately there's still little signs you can see him. Haney hasn't really shown himself to be that capable of a puncher, but if he becomes a puncher at 140, it'd be something, but I just don't see it happening at all. You don't magically become a puncher. It's something that you either have or you don't have, and even with the killer instinct, Haney's never really hurt a man recently in any of his fights, so vamp him. You just keep doing what you're doing, become that boxer, and even if people call it boring, ultimately, if you are, you're winning that sort. Should Haney take home the belt, I would like to see him personally try and get all the belts at 140. If he doesn't do that, I would like to see him fight Shakur. If it's not I don't think it'll be at 135, so maybe fight him at catch weight. But I think getting these bigger fights now is good for Haney. But Haney's building up quite a resume. He's beaten Loma, he's beaten Cambosis, beat Linares, and if he can beat Prograis, it puts him up there. He's definitely building a very impressive resume for himself. I still think he struggles against a lot of the top guys like Tank, like Shakur, but ultimately, I still think he's got what it takes to get this one done. So yeah, I think Haney takes home the belt, and becoming a 2-weight world champion would do a hell of a lot for Haney's status in terms of these big pay-per-view fights and demanding more money for his purse. So I think it's a big one for Haney. I do think he'll get this one done. I think Prograis, don't get me wrong, he can hurt Haney, and the fact that it's up in weight definitely gives him an edge. Would he knock Haney out? I'd be shocked. I think if he beats him, it would be most likely him just brutalizing him over 12 rounds. But who knows? Haney's chin may be more refreshed at 140, but at the same time, maybe it isn't that much of a difference because ultimately, Haney has been rocked a few times. And I don't think your chin, it can be better in weight, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't magically just improve. And his chin isn't terrible, don't get me wrong, but I still think he can be hurt. But yeah, here's my quick thoughts though. I think Dev gets it done. Anything crazy in this fight happens, I'll be there to talk about it. And yeah, Haney takes it. It's a few hours until the fight. Can't wait. And yeah, till next time.